Sure. Thank you. Actually, from I created. Can you see my screen?
It's about to come. Not yet. Did you get that option to share your screen?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
my problem is like,
Now I can see it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from the GG, like from GG prod, I can ping the google.com. My internet is working.
Okay.
But from other, it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
So I checked all the things. I don't know why, sir. What is the issue? I mean, that's what.
Okay. Show me the etc host file on the Node 2 or the dev server. Okay. So in this one, right. Open command prompt and show me your network details. Okay, so it's 1.1, right? Now go to the Node 2 virtual machine or the dev server virtual machine. Get inside the virtual machine. Okay, on the top you see that no, on the right hand side on the top. Okay, it's one and the same. Just right click on that laptop icon on the top right. Yeah. Edit connections. Okay, edit. Yeah. Okay, IPv4. Hold on. 1.1. 168. What are the network settings of this virtual machine? Go to machine and open settings. Virtual machine.
You want me?
No. Just
You want me to
let it be. Go to the virtual machine on the top. You see that machine icon or machine menu tab on the top. Out of the virtual machine.
You okay?
Come out of the virtual machine. Okay. Go to network. Yeah. Okay, yours is a dual band wireless AC3160. That's the one, right? Okay. So you're connected via cable, not right? Disable the cable connected below. Okay. Right. Now go to the virtual machine. Okay. Just do a service network restart. Restart the network in the same you can do. Okay, hold on. So connection active, device not managed by network manager or unavailable. Okay. Now right click on that laptop icon on the top. Yeah, edit connections. Okay, hold on. Just close this window. Where is the first window? We got first window also, right? Just right click, edit connections. Okay. Now, okay, I don't want to delete it because that will, I mean, that's a very long process. Go to edit. I'll give you a shortcut. Now in IPv4, make it to, instead of manual, select automatic. Yes. And click on apply. Okay, close it. So do a restart, service network restart. Yeah. Okay. So in your case, the network device has has been corrupted actually. So what you can do is you can perform a import of this VM again, delete it, perform an import, change the network
Okay.
settings, and then you start, it will work. Because now maybe because of a lot of troubleshooting, the network file got corrupted.
Okay.
Actually, we can
Okay.
resolve it, but it's a very long method.
Mhm.
It will take a lot of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay, no issue. My question is like, so should I do the same setting that's automatic in the GG prod also, where it's work
Oh, no,
fine?
no, 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 you didn't get the point. When you do an automatic, it's a shortcut. So why we need internet just to perform the prerequisites, right? So once you're done with the prerequisites, you set a static IP like 182 and then continue your work. So only for that part where you need internet, you set an automatic IP, like your router will assign an automatic IP to your VM, then you can just
Okay.
finish off your work, your yum repository and all. Later on, disable automatic, set a static IP, and then you can use locally.
Okay, fine, Arun. I'll try that. Fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
no problem.
Yeah.
So we have one more person. Who's the Navneesh? Yeah, Navneesh, shall I make you the presenter? Yeah, Navneesh, I made you the presenter. Can you let us know what's the issue? Yeah, hi Nasir. Okay, so we believe, I don't know what happened to Navneesh. So Navneesh, you there with us? So guys, okay Navneesh, as you are not responding, I'm proceeding with with our session. So because I had problem in the connection, no, we did not start the session yet. We are about to start. Right guys, so let us start today's session. Yesterday we actually installed the database software. Today we are going to create the databases. We will have a prod database and dev database. Okay, so let us start the VMs first. So let us wait for VMs to come up.
Hi Arun, good afternoon.
Yeah, hi, who's it?
This is Biswajit from Nairobi.
Hey Biswajit, how are you?
Fine. I am getting some issue when I am connecting through my laptop, but I am able to connect through my Android.
Okay, what's the issue?
It's saying the password you entered is not correct. I am copying paste, but it's not taking.
Strange problem. We have so many people joined via system, I believe. Hmm.
but the same password I'm able to connect through my Android. What's up? Okay, I'm watching through my Android.
Arun, I
Yeah.
also get the same issue when I try to connect, but
Okay.
I connect to system.
Okay, let's do one thing. I'll issue a new meeting ID, which will not have a password. That will be easy, right? So all of you can
Arun,
join through it. Yeah.
Arun, when I tried cutting and pasting didn't work, then I actually typed it as it is, then it worked.
That was strange
Yeah,
problem.
the cut and paste didn't work. Yeah.
Okay, maybe a strange thing. This is the first time we are trying with the password. Actually, I'll tell you the reason. We had couple of students, not couple. There was one girl. She actually canceled her enrollment, but we had to somewhere restrict people who are canceling their order. So this lady, she is not free on the weekends, so she cannot join the call. So that's why she opted to join maybe in future. And so the meeting link, if you don't have any restriction, if anybody is having meeting, they can join, right? So that's the reason we had to put the password. But no worries, I'll try to generate a new meeting link for everyone, and we'll have it with all the people who have just enrolled into this course. Okay, so VMs are up, so we should be able to connect. So this is the prod. And let me connect to the other one also. 182. Perfect. So we have the VMs up and running. The next thing we have to do is we have to initiate DBCA and then create a database. Let me start Xming and I'll create the database quickly. We'll switch to Oracle user. And okay, so first what we need to do is we need to edit the bash profile, right? So without bash profile, we won't be able to connect the database. So in the document that I have, in the document that I have, which I'll be sharing with this video, and this one I have the bash profile. In this bash profile, there is one new thing that you guys need to understand. For the people who install the database with just two environmental variables, that is Oracle SID and Oracle Home, we also need LD library path. So if you don't have LD library path, your GGSI will not work, or the Golden Gate command line interface will not work. Okay, so we definitely need this one. Many people will say like GGSI is not working even though we set the variables. If you don't set this LD library, the GGSI will not work. At least, it will start, but it will not be able to talk to your database. Okay, so let us set this bash profile. Okay, so I'll just exit and switch back to Oracle user. Let us check the environmental variables. Let me just go to this Oracle_home and check whether we see the binaries. Perfect, we have the 12C binaries over there, correct? And then I'll just type SQL plus. So it's working fine. We can see this is 12.102. Now on the node 2 as well, we have to set the bash profile. So I'll first get the XAuth list, switch to Oracle user, and XAuth add. So VI bash profile. Let us put this content over here. Exit, switch back to Oracle. Okay, for the guys like who are also using the same way I use the XAuth. In case if you once add the XAuth magic cookie, you don't have to add it again and again, even if you switch back to Oracle user. Like I exited right now and switched back to Oracle. I don't need to add it again. Okay, so don't add it again and again. It is required only once. And then env grep we'll go to oracle_home. Perfect. We see the binaries. Let us start SQL Plus. So it's perfectly working. All the variables are set. Now what we need to do is we need to initiate DBCA. Guys, in this document, even when you're starting the run installer, what all options you have to select, what is the software location, inventory location, everything is already listed. Okay, even with the DBCA. So set the environmental variable start DBCA and create ProdDB database with below options. Now one option you need to make sure that you create sample schemas on the ProdDB, because later on in the course we'll be also replicating the schema. Like we have the HR schema, right? We'll use Golden Gate to replicate the HR schema later on. So only on the prod we'll be creating the sample schemas. And if you look at the devDB, we are not going to create any sample schemas. Do not check the sample schema option over here. So let us start with prod first. DBCA. Okay, so it's starting. So we'll click on next. I'll go with the advanced mode. General purpose. This will be ProdDB and no container database over here. You can see it's mentioned container database unchecked, disabled. Make sure you're not creating any container DB. I mean, Golden Gate does support your pluggable DBs as well. So that's a separate case, because every time when you log into the database via Golden Gate, you have to use the complete database connection string, like your pluggable database name dot schema name dot table name. So we are not configuring any enterprise manager. Next. So I choose to give the password as sys for both system and sys user. Okay, no listener right now. We don't need any listener in this configuration. And then use common location for all database files. So use common location for all database files. Enable FRA with 20 GB size. So what you can do is over here, just mention it as 20. Okay. And I think we are enabling the archiving right now. Yes. So enable the archiving. Click on next. In this one, you have to create sample schemas. Next. No memory customization. We'll go with the default. Create database. Okay, this is a database summary. Just make sure SID is ProdDB. Then I'll just click on finish. This is working for the first server. Let us create the database on the second server, DBCA. Okay, everything is same except the sample schema. We'll create database, advanced mode, general purpose. This will be devdb. Next, no EM. I'll give it as sys again. Okay, no listener. Use common location, enable FRA, make it 20 GB, enable archiving. Next, no sample schemas, okay? Next, create database. Summary, just check this is devdb. Rest all should be fine. Click on finish. So we'll have to wait until these databases are created. Once this is done, we'll be installing the Golden Gate. So meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll actually copy the Golden Gate software.
This is Yogesh.
Yeah, Yogesh, tell me.
On the target, I believe a batch profile you set SID is prod.db.
Oh, is it?
Yogesh.
Okay, I copied the first part only, right? Any which ways we'll change it.
Yeah.
The Oracle Home is fine. So we'll edit the.
Yeah.
Thanks for it. Yeah. So once this is done, we'll edit it. Okay guys, so let us put the Golden Gate software on WinSCP. Okay, this is 12.2.01. So make it run in background. Take a new session 192.168.0.182 Oracle. Okay, so first one is completed. Second one will also complete in some time. Okay, so this looks to take some time. Right guys, so we can use this time if you guys have anything. Today we had a lot of topics to cover, like create the database, install the Golden Gate, then database level prerequisites, configure the manager, navigate basic Golden Gate commands, and after that we were even planning to see first replication same schema, same table name replication. Let's see if we can accommodate all this in the time we have remaining. Guys, meanwhile, one more thing. I'll not be in the city from 30th to 5th of September, and I don't want to miss your session on the weekend. So, first of all, the place where I'm traveling, I don't know whether I'll have internet access or not. So I'm thinking of alternatives. I'll update you guys what is the alternative. Maybe I'll plan to record your videos on like Monday and Tuesday, and then I'll let you watch those videos on weekend so that we don't lose the pace of the session. I mean, it's a family function. I tried to avoid it, but unfortunately I cannot. So I'll keep you guys updated, but from 30th till 5th, I won't have access to emails as well. I mean, definitely I carry my mobile, but I mean, the amount of emails that I'm getting, what I've done is I deconfigured the official email ID on my mobile. So any which ways, I don't know whether I'll have access to my system or the internet in that place, but I'll keep you guys updated about it. The alternative that I have in my mind is to record the sessions and then give you the videos so the we can So guys, meanwhile this continues. I think we all can take a 5 minutes break, and let's be back by my system time 5:47.
Okay.
Okay, guys, seems like both the databases are created. Great. So I'll close this one. I'll close this one. Over here, we had issue with the bash profile, right? Okay. Okay, looks fine. So the next step is we need to install the Golden Gate. So this is where we'll actually get inside the Golden Gate part. Okay, we had to copy the zip file. Sorry. We have it. Can we get inside this one? Okay. Okay, let me move it one step up. Okay, so we have this Golden Gate zip file, right? So we'll just unzip it, and you will see there are a lot of files that gets created when you unzip it. So I mean, after unzipping, don't feel like it has been installed into U02. It does not install in U02. So unzip this file. I mean, you get some supplemental PDF and XML files just to read about the Golden Gate. Okay, let me walk you through the document. Where is the second one? Install Golden Gate here. I think from 12c, I'm not sure which version. I think 11.204 or 11.203 in the Golden Gate version they introduced the GUI interface. I mean, earlier it was like you have to install it in a silent mode. There was no run installer, but in this 12c Golden Gate you have the run installer. So you have a GUI interface to perform the installation. We'll be using the GUI interface, nothing but same like our Oracle run installer to install this Golden Gate. Okay, now if I just do ls-lrt, you can see there are so many files that are created, at least I think 3 of them. This is the one. There will be one txt file and there is one PDF file. So ignore that txt and PDF file. So meanwhile, we'll do same on the second one. Okay, let us unzip the file. So guys, we'll be doing a plain installation. Like there is a stage in the installation where it says to start the manager. We are not going to do anything. We'll be just installing and then perform our activities from scratch. Like we'll configure manually the manager process and then we'll continue. So ls-lrt. So we have this one, right? Okay, so get inside this one. It will be something like fbo_ggs. Then again you will find this disk one. Get inside this disk one, and here you should find the run installer. Start the run installer. We'll do it one by one. First on ProdDB, then on DevDB. See, this Golden Gate, the 12c version, it also supports the 11g version of the Oracle database. In case if you want to use, sorry, in case you want to use the 12c Golden Gate version for your 11g database, it is available over here. So it depends. In our case, our database version is also 12c. So we'll go with the first option. Next. Okay, the installation location. I prefer to install it under product and then GG folder. We are not going to start manager. We'll configure it manually so that we learn how to configure the manager process. So click next. So software location, make sure it is under Oracle product GG. So don't worry, you can install it anywhere. So it's only my preferred location, so that both the Oracle database and Golden Gate resides in same location. If you want, you can create /u01 Golden Gate location, anything. This is the like Golden Gate home location where Golden Gate software will be installed. So click on install. This should be pretty quick. Let us initiate the installer on the second one. Okay, everything is same, no changes in the installation type. So make sure you disable the manager. The installation location, we will go with product and GG. Click next. Install. Okay, it's done on the ProdDB. So it's so simple. Click on close. Did you guys observe one thing over here in the disk 1? You see a response file. That means you can run this installer in silent mode as well, like how you run your database installer in silent mode. Let us wait for this one to complete. Okay, so this one is also done. So next we'll have to prepare the Golden Gate for replication. This is where the real stuff will start, like the Golden Gate administration stuff. Okay, so first thing we need to know is we have to enable the supplemental logging. Many people fail to understand what is this supplemental logging. So what is the meaning of supplement? It is nothing but having something extra, right? Extra apart from what you have. For example, people take supplements for making muscles. That means it is something extra in order to build the muscles, right? I mean, whatever diet they are having, still they need to have some extra supplements in order to build the muscles. Same way, in Oracle also what happens is the logging, whatever data is written to the redo log files, that is not enough for replication. We need, yes, who is it?
Arun, excuse me, this is Vishwajit.
Yeah, tell me.
Arun, this is the same like we enable this supplemental login for the log miner tool.
Yes, we do it, but we need. There are two phases of supplemental logging in Golden Gate. So I'm talking about this DB level right now.
Uh-huh.
We also have table level, schema level, different
Okay.
levels of supplemental logging. So I'll talk about it when we are in the Golden Gate, when we enable the supplemental logging from there.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's come back to the example which I was talking. So supplemental is like having some extra, right? The same way, whenever Oracle writes data onto the redo log files, it is not enough for any replication tool to read and perform the replication. We want some more data to be written to the redo log files. So when you enable the supplemental logging, of course, there is more data which is written to redo log files than what was previously being written. So we need to enable this force logging inside the database so that Golden Gate gets more data about the transactions that you perform in the prod DB. So one example, if you want to know, as far as I know, when you perform any update, so what will happen is your undo block details will also be put into the redo log files with their physical address. Now even I am not in depth into the processing, like where it is used and how Golden Gate uses that information. But there is one example that I'll give you in some time when we are setting up supplemental logging via Golden Gate, because there are two levels of supplemental logging we have to enable. So this supplemental logging, what we are talking right now, it is at database level. Okay. So let me repeat it. So there is a DB level, schema level, and table level. These are the different levels of supplemental logging we have. Now, right now, we want the DB level. We are enabling the supplemental logging for the entire database. And this will actually add up some extra data into the redo log files. But when you are working inside the Golden Gate, there are two other levels of supplemental logging you need to enable. If you don't enable, further data will not be returned to the redo log files. Now, when I will talk about schema level and table level, I will talk about what are the issues if you don't enable supplemental logging, or how supplemental logging helps replication to work perfectly well. So the primary requirement is we need to have DB level supplemental logging enabled. So let us enable the DB level supplemental logging. Let us clear the screen. Select name, open mode from $v database. This is prod DB, right? So supplemental logging, and we also need this force logging enabled. I'll run the same command on the other system. Scale plus /ss dba. So when you are working in this multi-terminal environment, make sure you check the database name. Okay, this is perfect, right? So supplemental logging is not enabled on both the databases by default. We'll enable it. This will enable the supplemental logging, and this will enable the force logging. So what is this force logging? There are some commands when you issue. You can skip writing the redo information. So we don't want somebody to skip the redo information, because if a transaction is not recorded, like you can use no logging clause. So if you're using no logging clause, the transaction details will not be logged into the redo log files. And if it is not logged into the redo log files, then how the transaction replication will happen? So we need this one over here. Now let us check this once again. Okay, so these two must be enabled right now. There are environments which are sensitive, which do not allow you. This comes under the Golden Gate performance tuning. where you don't need to really enable the force logging because it adds up overhead onto the not overhead. It's just additional parameter over here. So if you know some applications which are built in a way that I mean, whatever the incoming data is, there is no logging clause over there. Then you don't need to enable the force logging. It is not always that you have to enable, but because we are in the test, you should enable it. Okay. So somewhere, many a times I have seen people even skip the DB level logging. They actually prefer the schema level and table level when it comes to very big databases where performance is important. Okay. So I think a little bit I'll talk about this one when we are in Golden Gate performance tuning. There I'll tell you when to disable and how to disable it. So in general, make sure these two are enabled. Now this is one new parameter which I was about to talk to you guys. This parameter I think should be there in this version of the database. Yes. Can you see this one? Enable Golden Gate replication. This parameter is introduced only in this version 12.1.02. Even if you are working with 12.1.01, this parameter is not there. So from 12.1.01, in case if you are practicing replication, if you do not find this parameter, you can skip this. Okay, you don't need to enable it because if the parameter is not there, from where you will enable it. So if the version is different, you will not find this parameter. But just to show you guys, from this version, you have to enable this parameter in order to allow Golden Gate to perform the replication. So let us enable this parameter. We have to make it to true. The same we have to do it onto the target system. Okay, create Golden Gate database user. From here, a little bit of complexity will be there. But guys, I'll try to slow down the things as much as possible because I want to make sure you guys understand the things rather than we rush and complete the things. Okay. So my goal is to make sure you get the things right in the first time. So how are we going to perform the replication? This is a little bit tricky. See, I have two, these are the two databases. This is our prod. And we have the dev DB, right? This is the dev. On both the servers, I have one user Fox. And over here also I have Fox user. Now, I want to replicate from Fox user to Fox. I can do this. But what if I want to add some replication for Tom? We have another two schemas for which I have to perform the replication. So we cannot depend on the name of the schema for which we want to perform the replication. I repeat, we cannot use the name of the schema for which we are performing the replication. What we do is we rather create a third schema like OGG, that is Oracle Golden Gate, and this schema will be responsible. This schema will be responsible to perform all the replications in both the database. So how do we understand this one? For example, we have sysdba, right? Sysuser. Why do we use sysuser? For dbadmin on both the databases, correct? The same way, we are creating a separate user that is OGG. This user will be using for all the replication purpose. Like we'll grant DBA to this user. This will have the DBA permissions, and once you give the DBA permission, definitely it can do select, insert, update, delete from any other schema. Now, if I want to perform replication from Fox to Fox or Fox to Tom, I can just do it via this OGG schema. So all in all, we are creating a separate schema for replication administration. Okay, I repeat, we are creating a separate schema for replication administration. For all our replications, we'll be using OGG schema, and our next task is to create this user in both the databases. Okay, one more example just to, if you know, there is one more DBSNMP. This is used by your OEM to administer your databases. right? The same way we are using a separate user. If you are using the same schema name like Fox, it creates a trouble. Like if I want to add other schemas, it really creates a trouble. So it is very good to centralize the administration. You create OGG schema, and all your application is handled by that user. Okay. So we need to create a dedicated Golden Gate user on both source and target databases. The Golden Gate user on source reads the transactions, and the Golden Gate user on the target applies the transaction. The job of this user would be to read all the transactions which are involved in the replicated tables or schemas. Let's take if I want to replicate Fox to Fox. So OGG user will read those transactions and pass it on to the target. And on the target, OGG user will be the one who will perform the insert, update, deletes, all those transactions into the target DB. Okay. So we will create new user with dedicated table space on both the databases. It's a good idea. We have a dedicated table space like GG_TBS. And this table space we are giving 500 MB size. I think that's good enough. And this location should work over here. If you are going with default locations, guys, you can just copy paste from the document, and then you can also save some time in these areas. I believe there's no point in having some custom location of your database, because how much time you will save over here. I want you guys to focus on the replication stuff, not on all these small things. And then meanwhile, I'll create the GGTBS on the target database as well. Okay. So how to set enable Golden Gate replication if it is the source is SQL Server or DB2? See, this parameter is related to Oracle. It is not related to other databases. You need to check the prerequisite documents for those servers. Okay, so this will not be available in those databases. And guys, let us focus only on Oracle right now. Let us not get into all the other databases. So keep your mind completely fresh. Learn one replication on one database vendor perfectly well. Later on, you can relate the things. Okay, this is how we have to do. This is the first step. So you need to know the process flow. That is important. So right now, if we get into other vendors, we will not be able to learn even single vendor replication. Okay, so what I'm doing next is we are creating the user OGG, and the password is also same. The default table space is GG_TBS. So the same user we are creating both on source. This is the prod DB, and on the target, this is the dev DB, right? Guys, we are only doing the prerequisites right now. Now grant admin privileges to OGG user. So we have a package that comes inside this database when you want to enable the Golden Gate user. So there are a lot of permissions. So with this package, automatically all those permissions will be given. Even though we get all those permissions, we have to grant DBA separately to this user. Why we have to grant DBA? Because in the DDL transactions, you will be altering the tables, right? So for that one, you need a DBA permission. So make sure you execute this package, and this is where you have to give the username to which you want to grant all the Golden Gate authentications. You can read this one, dbms_Golden Gate auth dot grant admin privileges. So we are granting all the Golden Gate privileges. I mean, earlier there were series of permissions you need to execute, but now we have it very simple. With this package, it will be automatically assigning all the required privileges over there. This will take a little time, and then we'll grant DBA to this user. Okay. Guys, as I mentioned earlier, if you have trouble in maintaining multiple terminals, try to complete everything on one terminal, close it, open the second one, and do it again. So now is where we'll be starting with the first process configuration, that is known as manager process. So what is the configuration we are going to do? If you remember correctly, the manager process is the one which will hold the port details, correct? So the default manager port detail is 7809. We'll be using the same port number in our configuration as well. So this port details we have to keep in this manager process. So now exactly your Golden Gate stuff will start. So how do we set this one? First of all, let us exit from the SQL Plus. Let me clear the screen. We have to go to the Golden Gate home location. I think we missed one step. What is that? Cat. Yes. We did not set the Golden Gate home location in the bash profile. Any which ways we'll use it. So where is the other document? Prepare Golden Gate. Okay, this is the step we have missed. Any which ways, this is there in the document. So on both the servers, edit the bash profile and put it above this one. It should be fine. Okay, and let's do same on this one also. Okay, so let us exit and switch to Oracle user again. Now echo $gg_home. Okay, let us get inside this GG home. Just type ls. These are your Golden Gate binaries. Okay, the same will do it on this one, and then we'll continue with only one node. We'll switch to Oracle. So cd $gg_home. Perfect. This is our Golden Gate home location where we have Golden Gate binaries. So let me minimize this one and let us start. So what is the first thing that we are going to learn in the Golden Gate home is, like how we have SQL Plus, we also have a utility in Golden Gate to administer all your Golden Gate stuff. It is known as GGSAI. This is the Golden Gate Service Command Line Interface. Okay, so enter. This is where we have entered inside the Golden Gate, the command line interface, and we'll be using this command line interface extensively to administer the entire Golden Gate replication, to configure our extracts, replicates, the data pump process, also even the manager process. So the first goal is to configure the manager process. So how do we configure the manager process? First, we start the GGSI. Okay, the first command that you guys need to learn is, I think I'll have a notepad. I'm just writing some commands, so whatever we are going to use, so that it will be a reference for you guys. Info all. This is one command you will use again extensively to get the information of all the processes that are running inside your Golden Gate. Don't worry, we are not going to look at everything like today. Your Golden Gate administration is distributed, so we'll be looking very limited things today. And as we proceed with the course, you will learn other dimensions of the Golden Gate as well. So info all, we can see that manager is stopped. So why manager is stopped? Because we did not start the manager process while we were installing the Golden Gate. We will configure manager by ourselves, okay, and then we'll start the manager by ourselves. We didn't want Golden Gate to do this for us. So let us check the document once. I think we are not missing one step. Where is that one? Okay, we have, I think it will be in the next document, right? So over here, one thing you need to learn, guys, be very clear over here. Like in database, when you start the database, okay, startup, no mount. What happens? It reads a parameter file, correct? So what this parameter file does is, this parameter file tells how much RAM is to be allocated to the SGAPG and the other stuff. All the processes are to be started, your common locations, your control file locations, all those things will be there in the parameter file. So parameter file instructs something to the database, correct? This is very important. The parameter file instructs something to the database when you issue startup no mount. The same way, every process inside the Golden Gate needs to have a parameter file. Why? Because we have to define every parameter for each process. So we write some parameters, we define some parameters for every process in Golden Gate. Now, what are the different processes in the Golden Gate? We already know we have a manager, correct? We have extract, we have data pump, we have collector, we have replicate, right? And again on the target side also we have a manager. All these processes, okay, except the collector. If you remember, I told you guys we don't configure the collector because it is automatic. So except the collector, I'll just remove it from this list. All these processes, we have to configure a parameter file dedicated to each process. So what this parameter file will do is, it will tell something for that process to do. Because see, every process has a dedicated work. What is the job of manager? To hold the details of port number, correct? This is for port details. I mean, there are other things also. As of now, as I said, we'll understand Golden Gate in phase wises. So right now, let us understand only port details are there in the manager. Even there are a lot of things that you can put in the manager process. We are not getting into it. What all details will have in extract? The schema details, the table details, correct? Like which schema, which table we want to extract the data for. Then what is the job of the pump process? The pump process job is to read from the source trail. So it will have the details of source trail, TRAL trail, and remote server. Because it will read from the source trail and push the data onto the remote server. Same way replicate, what details will have in replicate? The target trail, correct? Because it reads from the target trail and replicates onto the target server, the target DB or target schema / table name, correct? And again the manager will hold the port details onto the target server. So who tells all these things to these processes? You as a DBA have to tell all these things to these processes. And how? By creating parameter file for each process. Okay, one thing is very clear. For every process to work, you have to create a parameter file. What all to put inside the parameter file, how to create parameter file, and where it is stored, all those things are secondary. We will be looking at it later. Right now, the first thing we have learned in Golden Gate is, for every process, we are going to create a parameter file. So let us get into the first process, that is manager. Manager is the one that runs on both the servers, source and target. If manager is not running, it will be a trouble for your extract, replicate, and also for other processes. So first goal, let us create a parameter file for the manager process, and we'll put only the port details, that is 7809. This is the default port number. So the first command that we have learned is info all. The second command that we are going to use is, that is edit param. It is nothing but edit parameter, and then you give the name of the process. Like in this case, we are editing the parameters for manager, right? Manager is in short also called as MGR. So if you type manager or MGR, it's one and the same. I mean, one benefit you get with MGR is little bit of less keystrokes on the keyboard. Rest all the same. Okay. So with this one, what happens is it will open the parameter file for you. Of course, there is a way. Pay your attention, guys. There is a way to create parameter files outside GGSI also. You use normal VI editor, you can do it, but it is always preferred to do it within the GGSI. Okay, it is always preferred because when you issue this command, if you see edit param mgr, if I issue this command, what will happen? It okay. Yes, I was waiting for this one. Actually, I thought it is in the other document, but it should be above here. I'll add it up. Create sub dirs. Yeah. So, okay, I didn't want to talk about where the parameter file is stored, but we have to talk about it. So, if you do not create the manager process from the run installer, what happens is Golden Gate has some directory structure, and there are some directories which hold these parameter files, which will hold your trail files, and there are again further directories. These directories are not created by default. If you see, all your parameter files reside under, this is your Golden Gate home, U01 app Oracle product GG, and this is the directory naming convention, dir, that is directory, PRM, that is the parameter. So dir PRM is the location where all your parameter files are stored in regards to all the processes that you configure. Now, so the issue over here is we did not start the manager process from the run installer. So these directories are not created. So how do you create these directories? This is, the error itself is giving us this command, create sub dirs. So when you issue this command, if I just hit enter, you can see so many subdirectories are created. Don't worry, we have a separate session to understand what these directories work and how they work. But right now, the most important one for us is dir PRM, the first one. Can you see this will hold the parameter file. So let us create the subdirectories on the target server also. Okay, GGSCI. So create sub dirs. Okay guys, for just to not to have confusion, I won't be touching the target putty session. It might create a confusion. Okay. So now these directories are in place. Let us issue this command, edit params mgr. So we are editing the parameter file for the mgr process. Hit enter. Now can you see this is nothing but your VI editor. So if you manually go ahead and create a parameter file under the dir PRM using VI editor, that is also fine. But as I mentioned earlier, it is preferred to do it within the Golden Gate GGSI prompt. So what we need to put inside this manager process, if you look at it, you just need to put only one detail, that is the port number. What is the port? on which this manager process will be listening. So edit it and then port 7809. Just save and close. The commands are same, your VI editor commands. Done. So sorry guys. Okay, so edit param mgr will edit the parameter file. Now the next thing that we have is how to view the parameter file. So you have one more command, view param mgr. So these commands are very simple, normal English commands. You can see I just have one line in the parameter file of the mgr, that is port number 7809. So let me put this command also over here. Guys, there are a lot of commands that you will learn during the course, but these all commands are very simple, straightforward commands. There is nothing special characters or something is there. Even in the parameter files, the parameters are self-descriptive. If you read the parameters, you can tell what it does. Those are simple English parameters. Okay. So what is the first thing we have accomplished right now? We have edited the manager parameter file. We have put the port details over there. Now let us do the same thing on the target server. So what I need to do is info all, just see the information of all the processes. We have manager that is stopped. So I need to edit the manager parameter file. So how do I edit? Edit param mgr. Just insert the port details 7809. Okay, many people ask me like, can we have different ports? Yes, you can have different ports. There's no hard and fast rule. So what is the difference like if we are having different ports? If you have different ports, remember one thing. The data pump pushes data onto the remote server, right? So in the data pump parameter file, you need to give the details of remote server along with the port number. Let us assume our source port is 7809 and target port is 1100. In the data pump, you have to mention the target server port number. Because if you don't specify the port number in the data pump, then how would data pump process push the source trail onto the remote server, correct? So just for the simplicity, we are going with the same 7809, but you can have different ports also. Should not be a problem. So let us check the parameters. View param mgr. So manager port is, we have defined the port number 7809. Great. Now after this manager process or the manager parameter file, minimum needs this one information to be started. It needs this information to start the mgr process. At least the port number should be there, otherwise you won't be able to start the mgr. So okay, for a few of the folks who are already working in the in the real-time environment, you can even give a port range over there like 7809-8809, something like that. So your manager will run dynamically on those ports. Okay, and now you will have a doubt like, what if we are using dynamic ports? Then this is the job of your manager process to actually connect with the other manager process and tell them what is the port on which it is listening. Okay, so all the port information, where it is listening, which manager is trying to contact the other manager, all those details are, all those stuff is managed by the manager process. So yes, we have an option to configure dynamic ports also, like a range of ports. So right now we are going with only one port, 7809. And as I mentioned, if we have this one information, port number 7809, we can start the manager process. So how do we start any process inside the Golden Gate? It is very simple. Start the process name. As I mentioned, manager process, in short, you can type it as mgr also. So if I just type start mgr, it will start the manager process. Let us start this one. Perfect. Manager is started. So how do you check the details? Nothing but info all. Now can you see status has been changed to running? Earlier it was stopped. Also one more thing, one more new command for you guys. This exclamation to execute previous command. Let's take you want to see this info all again, just type this exclamation mark and hit enter. It will continue to run the previous command in the Golden Gate prompt. Okay, so these are the basic commands. Let us start the manager over here also in the dev server. Start mgr info all. So it's running. So we have accomplished our first task, that is starting the manager process, and we have defined the port details on the manager process, correct? So let me check any questions. Okay. So we have so many. Let me scroll up. So the username should be OGG or anything else? No, you can have anything. That is something I prefer to use. So OGG is optional. The package is inbuilt, right? Yes, the Golden Gate package is inbuilt. Is the package is GG12C new feature? Kind of yes, but as I mentioned, like in 11G, we had to issue a lot of commands. There are actually list of commands or list of permissions that you have to separately give to the Golden Gate user. So is DBA privilege mandatory for OGG? I mean, already required grant admin privileges provided by OGG, then why do we need the DBA? Okay, I have seen it somewhere. I am not getting the exactly where it created a trouble, but if you don't give DBA, somewhere it will create a trouble. I'm not sure about it. I'll research and get back to you. Once it gave me a trouble while I was doing some replication stuff. So then I recollected, okay, I did not give the DBA privilege. So yes.
So
yeah.
Arun, so this is Pankaj here, and it was asked by me. So actually, what happened to get the DBA privileges? I need a it's an audit issue in my database right now. So is there any way I can bypass it?
Yeah, you can do it. Except DBA, you issue all the privileges manually, like we do it in 11G. So what I'll do is I have those list of commands in 11G. Let me write it down.
Okay.
So I'll forget. So I'll send it to all. Don't worry. How to?
Yeah, because if I give this DBA privileges to any other user, my audit team will raise concerns on that one. That's what I asked.
No problem. List of permissions in 11G. So I have this list of permissions in 11G. You need to give all those permissions, then it will be fine. I mean, whether you give a DBA or you give those permissions, it's just one and the same. Yes. Yeah. You have anything?
Thanks, Arun.
Yeah, no problem. Yes, there are issues in some environments, like how Pankaj is saying. There are issues like some people don't allow to configure DBA. Guys, I'll give you one more option. I think you can even use the system user, because system user has the DBA privilege. So that's a loophole. In case if you get any issues, rather than OGG, you can use system user. But again, on a personal note, it is always good to have a dedicated user. Like DBSNMP is a dedicated user for your OEM, and your sys user is for database administration. Same way, it is preferred to have a dedicated user for replication. Okay, guys. So perfect. So we have seen this one. Guys, we are actually done with our timings, but if everybody is okay, I would like to complete at least single table replication. I mean, if you guys are okay, just let me know. I mean, it will take easily 40 minutes more.
Yes, yes, proceed.
Yeah, please carry on.
Okay. Because I want to invest a lot of time over here. This is the first replication that you guys will be learning. And honestly, guys, all my courses, I mean, this is a secret or behind the scenes, I'm telling you what goes on. I never really create any documentation or never really keeps any or keep any real documentation like this. You know what? Before I plan to take the course, I will create all this stuff like the document that you're seeing on my screen. So my goal is to simplify the things. Like I have seen a lot of replications online. Even I have, while I was working in 11G version, I've seen a lot of Golden Gate tutorials online, but all of them will start with the very complex stuff that is schema replication or maybe some HR table replication and some parameters which I could never understand. I mean, it took a lot of time for me to understand Golden Gate. Honestly, I would blame that there was no simple way. So my idea was to simplify the replication, and in this one, we'll first learn the single table replication. If you see over here, we have two schemas. I mean, we'll be creating these two schemas. The schema name is same. The table names are same. The table structure is also same. We are going to create a very simple basic table and configure replication for it. And let us understand the things from the ground zero. So how to replicate one single table when I create the table, when the schema name is same, when the table name is same, and when the structure is same. So if we learn this one, maybe it will be easy to increase the complexity. Like in the next activity, we have table name is same, structure is same, but the schema name is different. Okay, so that way, like I'm increasing the complexity slowly in the Golden Gate practices. So this first practice, if you see this table, this is very important to remember. We have same schema, same table, structure is same, everything is same, and we are configuring the basic replication with the bare minimum parameters. You don't have to refer Google. There are, as I mentioned, there are a lot of parameters out there. They will confuse you. First, learn the things from the scratch level. So what we are going to do is we are going to create this Fox user in both the databases. Okay. So it's very clear, guys. We have this source and target, and we have this OGG user for replication. We are creating a Fox user over here. And again, we have OGG user, and we'll be creating another Fox user onto the target server. Now, my goal is to have a table which is owned by the Fox user on the source to be replicated onto the target. This is the simple goal I have. The structure is same. The structure is same. The table will be created on both the source and the target, but we will not have any rows. So once we set up the replication between this user, we will enable the replication. That means if I insert a record over here, I must see the record over here as well. This is my goal right now. Very clear. The table structures we'll be creating. We will be setting up the replication, but we will not install any rows in the source until we are done with the replication. So once our replication is done, then we will test our replication by inserting some rows onto the source. Okay. So the first step that we have is to create the Fox user on both prod and the dev server. So these are just silly commands. I mean, you just create the user. I'm granting connect and resource and user Fox. We are giving unlimited quota onto the user's table space, just in case we don't get any issues with the table space. Okay, this is a normal user. If you look at this one, we are not granting any DBA. We are not granting any special permissions. This is a normal database user. So we have to create this user on both source and the target. In Golden Gate, manager process is running. We'll come back to this later. Okay, clear. So SQL plus /sys DBA. So I have created the Fox user on the prod DB. Let us connect to the SQL plus. Where is SQL plus here? And then I'll create the Fox user onto the dev DB. Right? User is created. So what is the next goal? In both the users, we'll create this tab 1. Okay, this is the first table. And as the structure is same, we will run the create command in both the Fox user so that we have the same structure. Don't worry about different structure. Don't worry about different schema. Those are all activities we have later. Our goal right now is very simple. The simplest replication we are trying to do. So on the prod DB, can you see create tab 1 table on both prod DB and dev DB as Fox user. Don't get confused over here because your session will be in the sysdba user or the sys user. Connect to the Fox user and then create this table. Create table tab 1. Some columns in which we have 1 as the primary key, C1, C2, C3, and I have created this table onto the prod DB. Let me create the same table onto the dev. Okay, and I'm creating this table tab 1. No changes in the table name, no changes in the schema name. Everything is exactly same. So once we are done with this one, we need to start the Golden Gate replication. As I mentioned, we are not going to insert any rows. Like at the end of the document, just to show you guys, we need to test our replication. So once we set up the replication via Golden Gate, we will be testing the replication by inserting some rows. Okay, so that's why we are not inserting the rows right now. So what is the first thing we have to do over here? Now from the database side, we are done. We have a Fox user. We get a call from our manager saying like, hey, you know what, can you set up the replication for the Fox user? Table name is tab 1. Okay. So what we do is we exit, clear the screen. Now if you see the location, I am in the Golden Gate home location, right? I will start the GGSI, that is Golden Gate command line interface. Inside GGSI, what you need to do? Now we need to connect the database. Okay, as I mentioned, we have the OGG as the Golden Gate administrator. So via the Golden Gate prompt or the command line interface, I need to connect to the database with the admin user. So what is our admin user? Okay, let me write down the command for you guys. DB login. And this is the command. You need to give the user ID password of the user, like your Golden Gate administrator user. In our case, it is user ID OGG. Password is OGG, right? So this way, from the Golden Gate prompt, you actually connect to the Golden Gate administrator user inside the database. Can you see successfully logged into the database? Now, if you want to know how this happened and all those things, if you remember, we have enabled the Golden Gate parameter, replication parameter. Secondly, that LD library path, that is the most important one. If you don't set it, nothing will work. Okay, so all this, your Golden Gate is tightly integrated with Oracle database. So if you just give this DB login user ID, it will log into the database. Now, one new learning over here. What is the new learning? So let me create a new notepad for new learnings. NINGS. Okay. So the first new learning that we had today was every Golden Gate process will have a parameter file. Perfect. That's the first thing we had learned. The second thing that we are going to learn is, and I forgot it. Okay, what was it? Where is the... I was about to say something, I don't know. I missed it, guys. So I'll come back to it, no problem. Oh yeah, I got it. Wait. Every time you connect to Golden Gate prompt, log into the DB. This is the new learning that you have. If I exit from GGSI, okay, if I exit and I want to connect back to GGSI again, okay, some commands will work, but a lot of commands will not work. Like info all will work. If I want to stop the manager, this command will work. Don't worry about these new commands. We'll be discussing this later. I'm just showing you some example. Okay. So info all. Now can you see, without even logging to the database, I stopped the manager process. Likewise, few commands will work without logging into the database, but I personally recommend whenever you connect to GGSCI, try to log into the database administrator account. Only in case if you want to know the information, you don't need to log in. But otherwise, a lot of times what happens is, I mean, out of experience, I'm saying, if you configure some process without logging into the database, it will not work. And many times there are issues if you don't log into the database via Golden Gate prompt. I mean, you won't be able to configure some processes. So blindly, this is what I say, blindly, whenever you connect to Golden Gate, simply give your DB login details, user ID, OGG, password, OGG. Okay, simple as that. First login, then even again you can give this command info all, right? Now you can start the MGR, all the commands will work. Once again, let us check. So what are the two new learnings that we have? First is every Golden Gate process will have parameter file except the collector process. Okay, that process will not have any parameter file. I mean, you don't need to configure it. It will be auto start. Okay, so these are the first two new learnings we have. So once we are logged into the database, now you can see you will get the details of your database over here with which user and which database you are logged into, like OGG@ProdDB, right? So if you are not logged in, you will get something like this, only ggprod, your server name. You won't get the database details, right? So even looking at the prompt, you can say that which database, which user you are logged in. Perfect, guys. So info all manager is running fine. So what is the next goal we are trying to do is, so connect to the database via Golden Gate, and we have logged inside the database via the Golden Gate GGSI prompt. So once you log in, as I mentioned earlier, we also need to enable supplemental logging at the table level. Okay, remember guys, there are two things over here: schema level and table level. To keep these things very simple, we are right now replicating a table, so only we have to enable the table level logging. Simple. When we are replicating schema, we'll enable the schema level supplemental logging. Now the question is, you might have, Arun, how this supplemental logging helps the replication? I'll give you an example. This example might excite you guys. This is an amazing example. Okay, so let me see if I can take the example of this table. Okay, let me get it into the notepad. Just a simple example. Now the issue, what happens when you don't enable the supplemental logging at table level is, when you issue an update command, update table tab 1, set C4 equal to 900, where C1 is equal to 1. Some random command I have given. Okay, so updating, I want to update this table 1, and I'm setting the C4 to 900, the column 4 to 900, where column number column 1, the primary key column is value is 1. Simple command. But what happens is in your redo log file, the update command, whenever the data is put over there, only this part will come. This is one big problem. Okay, so that means table has been updated where C4 is 900. Now, if you don't enable the table level supplemental logging, understand this command will be executed onto the target. So what is the problem with this command? The problem is that it will update every record where in the C4 column with 900. That's the problem with this one, because where clause never comes into the picture of your redo log files. So what this supplemental logging will do, I mean, I'm talking about the Golden Gate supplemental logging that we are going to enable right now. So the next step that we are going to execute is we are telling that Oracle database must log the key column details also. So in this way, the exact command that is run onto the primary or to the prod, the same command goes on to the target and it is executed. Okay, so now if this command goes and executes onto the target server, we have a perfect sync of the transaction. Yes. In the same way, when you are deleting something from the table, and if supplemental logging at table level is not defined, it will be a challenge. The problem is the where clause is never reported. So if it is not reported, then it will be a challenge onto the target side. So your replication needs this supplemental logging at ground level. So database level, perfect, we have defined it, but now we need a table level supplemental logging, and this is to be defined by you inside Golden Gate. Okay, so let us not get into like how we do it onto the other databases. Let us first focus only on the Oracle. So now that we got the details.
Yeah, Arun, one question.
Yeah, tell me.
We have to enable the supplemental logging both at source and target, right?
Yes, definitely. But right now, I mean, we are not doing it onto the target right now, only on the source, because on the target you only have the apply process. You don't have, only in the extraction you need the data. While applying you have the full command, right? There is a full command.
Okay.
See, if this command is going over there, then you don't need supplemental logging over there, right?
Yeah, only at the source, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So add table level supplemental logging via Golden Gate. Yes.
Arun.
Yeah.
Arun.
Tell me.
Because this is unidirectional, that's why we need only the target side. Eh?
Correct. Yes. I don't want to mix the concept, so I'm not getting into bidirectional and other stuff. Once we are in that topic, we'll talk about it. Let us just focus on this simplest replication right now. Okay. I mean, I would say the way you understand, just understand it. Simple as that. So guys, yes, while we are into different topologies of Golden Gate, there are again different scenarios, but I just don't want to mix up all the concepts. Let's focus on this simplest replication. So as I mentioned, right now our goal is to replicate a table, right? Table 1. So enable only table level supplemental logging. Don't enable the schema level, because you are giving an overhead onto the log writer. It will be writing a lot of data about the tables that you don't want data for. See, if your schema is having how many? If your source schema like Fox is having 100 tables, example, okay, and you want to replicate only tab 1. Now, if I enable the schema level supplemental logging for all these 100 tables, the additional data will be written. So this will be an overhead onto your log writer. Don't do these kind of stuff. This is again comes under designing part. While you're designing the application, what level of supplemental logging you have to do. So when we are in schema, I'll talk about it later more in detail. Right now, my goal is to enable supplemental logging on the Fox.table1. And this is how we enable it. Add tran data, nothing but transactional data. We are telling Oracle to add extra transaction data for fox.table1. Okay, there is also another way, like if you want to enable for all the tables, you can do it like star also, but don't get into all those things right now. That's not our goal. Tab 1. Okay, so let me enable the supplemental logging. See guys, if you read through the document where that command has to be run, it is bold and clear on the top of the command. Okay, every command it will have it, and where you don't have, you can read this text. It says you have to run on both prod and devdb. Correct? So on ggprod, add tran data fox.tab1. So let me run it on to the ggprod. Can you see logging of supplemental redo data enabled for the table fox.tab1? Okay, so now when you issue those updates, deletes, inserts, and whenever you are using those where clauses, even that data, the key column data, will also be captured into the redo log files. So that way it will be easy onto the replicated site. Now the first thing we have to do is we have to create an extract process. So for me to tell you about all this, I need something. So let me get into architecture. Okay, so give me a minute, guys. Okay, perfect. We have this one. Right. Now this will be fine. Actually, this will help me to explain you guys what I'm trying to do. So as per the architecture, what we have done is we have already defined the manager, right? 7809. Perfect. The manager is running on 7809. The manager has been started on both the systems. Perfect. On the source, whatever we have, what all we have done is DB level supplemental logging is enabled. Even the table level fox.tab1 is enabled. Perfect. These all prerequisites are done. Now our next goal is to configure the extract. So guys, once again, there is a new learning over here. So let me write that new learning and then I will come back to this one. So what is the next new learning you have is every process needs 3 details. Okay, this is something new for you guys, but I'll tell you what it is. There are 3 details that you need to specify to Golden Gate for every process except the collector. So whenever I use the word all the processes, just exclude the collector. You don't do anything with the collector. Okay. What are those 3 things? See, every process, if you look into the Golden Gate configuration, there is an input, there is an output. For data pump, there is an input, there is an output. Collector, as I mentioned, we do nothing. For replicat, there is an input and there is an output. Okay, so for every process, 3 things you have to mention. First is input details. Second is output details. Can anybody tell me the third detail that we need? Anyone? We have already seen that learning. Come on, guys. Yes, we need the parameter file. Without parameter file, how it will work? Perfect. So remember this one, every process in Golden Gate needs to have three details. One is the input details, output details, and the parameter file, except the manager, because even manager does not have those details. We have only the port number over here. I'm talking about the extract, data pump, and replicate. For these three processes, we need to have three details. First is input detail, like what is the source of data, what that process will do, from where it will read the data. The output details, the output is nothing but where it will push the data, whether it is on source trail or whether it is on target database. That is output details. And then we need a parameter file in order to run a process, right? So that parameter file will have the details of everything. See guys, don't get confused over here. We need to provide the input details, we need to provide the output details, and even these two details are to be contained in your parameter file. Okay, so don't get confused, because you might say, like, if you provide everything in the parameter file, then why we have to type separate commands to define input and output? Yes, we have to do it 2 times. I mean, you have to say what is the input, you have to say what is the output, and those input output details are again to be stored inside your parameter file. So with this details that we have, let us configure the extract process. Remember, 3 things we have to configure. Okay. So for the extract process, the command is very simple, add extract, the name of the extract process. We are going with ext1, and there is a comma in the syntax. Then we have integrated tran log. If you remember, there are 2 types of capture process, that is in classic and integrated. Okay, and one more thing guys, just to show you something. On your course, I published this new lesson that is important, how to upgrade classic capture to integrated capture. Okay, if you click on this one, I mean, I have talked more about the classic capture, what is integrated capture, and what are the integrated capture modes, and then Oracle Golden Gate apply process, what is non-integrated apply, what is integrated apply, advantages of integrated apply. And there is an important note. I want to talk about this important note. Integrated capture and apply are native to Oracle database only. For other databases, you need to use the classic capture and classic apply. Okay, and you have an activity document that you can download, how to upgrade a classic capture to integrated capture. So I don't recommend you guys to do this activity now until you get familiar with 1 or 2 replication steps. But I have already published it. In case if you want to go through, you can go through it. Okay. So now you will have this question, how to add an integrated capture. If you issue this word integrated, this will start an integrated capture. This is the first command. And if you want to start a classic capture, then you don't need to use this word. So what is the difference in both of them? This uses the log mining service, and this one uses your redo or archive. And we have already seen what is the importance of integrated tran log. I mean, reading reading of the transactions is moved pretty close to the database rather than reading from redo or archive. So definitely in Oracle we have this option, so why not use this option? Correct. So the command is very simple, add extract, the name of the extract, what is the type of the extract, whether it is classic or integrated. So this tran log is constant, nothing but it's like your transaction logs. And if you issue this integrated, it will read from the log mining service inside the database. This begin now, we are telling that make sure this extract starts right away. Actually, it will not be started. Ultimately, it means that we want the ext1 to read from the LCRs, that is logical captured records, nothing but from your log miner service immediately. I want that ext1 should start talking to the log mining service right now. Immediately, I want to start this thing. So this command, once you execute, by looking at our three important terms. Okay, let me put it on the notepad. What are those three details? First one is input details. Second one is output details. Third one is parameter file. Perfect. Now, as per the input details, right now, what we are doing is, okay, we haven't done anything. We are actually creating the process right now. So where is it? So we are adding this extract process inside the Golden Gate. Let us add this process. Add extract ext1 integrated begin now. Extract integrated added, right? So info all, you can see we have a manager which is running, but extract is stopped. By default, all the extracts will be, whatever process you add, it will be stopped. You might say we have issued begin now, why it did not start? Because we have two other things to specify. Not two, all the three. We did not create any parameter file, no input details, no output details, nothing has been specified. So process is created. Now with the integrated capture, we need to register this extract process with the database. A simple command, register extract ext1 with the database. If you don't register it, then the log mining service will not be able to talk to your extract process. Even if you miss to issue this command, it will give you an error when you try to start it. Okay, can you see extract ext1 successfully registered with the database at this SCN number? Perfect. So extract process is registered with the database. Next what? Now this is something like our input detail. Nothing but we have registered the extract process with the database and we have told that this is an integrated capture which will talk to the log mining service. So this is our input details for the extract process. What are the output details? I want, like, what is the job of the extract process? To write onto the source trail files. So I need to specify the location of this source trail files. Okay, so this location I will manually say like add ext trail. We are adding a trail file over here. Nothing but these are the trail files, and then we will have to give the location. If you look at the location, it is nothing but again Golden Gate directory dir dat. This is the location dir dat. This is the location where we keep all the trail files. Okay, nothing but dir data. And inside this location, I want that trail files should start with ex. Okay, that is the prefix I want to give to the trail files. Remember, you can give prefix only for 2 characters. Don't give it for 3 or 4 characters. So ex is like just 2 characters, and then you have 9 zeros, and then it will be all zeros, 801, 802, 803. That's how your trail files will be generated. And then I have to say this is the output of which process, extract ext1. Okay, so I need to add this extract trail ext1. So I am telling the Golden Gate that add this as the target file or the source trail file for the extract process ext1. Perfect. Can you see extract trail is added? So what is the third thing? We have to define the parameter file. So edit param, the process name ext1. So edit param ext1. Now what all parameters we have to put? First 2 parameters are common for all the processes. Blindly. First 2 parameters are common. The name of the process, whether it is extract, replicate, whatever it is, and then the extract name. Next is the user ID with which the Golden Gate administrator user, with which this process will log into the database. So user ID OGG, password is OGG. Then we have ext trail, the extract trail. This is the trail file just now which we have added. If you see this one, I mentioned, right, the input and output details you have to specify separately. And again, those details should be there in the parameter file. So we have to specify the trail file to which this extract process will write. And at the end, we specify the input table, table fox.tab1. I want this extract to read this table, and whenever a transaction insert, update, delete happens on fox.tab1, capture it. So I'll put these details in this one. Very simple. The first one is the details of the process, the extract txt one. Second is the Golden Gate admin login ID and password for the database. Third is the output trail file. And the last one is the source table, fox.tab1. Right? So my extract is done. Now I need to add a data pump process. So what is the job of the data pump? To pump the source trail. So what are the input details for the data pump? It is the source trail input, and I need to give the output details onto where it is going to write the target files, right? Okay, so do we have some chat? So do we have to execute all GG steps from the GGSI prompt only, or can SQL prompt also be used? So how can you use SQL for GG commands? Okay guys, don't mind, I have so many requests. Maybe few of them might like this session to be continued, but there are a lot of people who have a lot of appointment. I think the way I'm explaining, I will again further take more 40 minutes from now, because a lot of things are to be covered. So what I'll do is, as I mentioned earlier, I will re-record this entire session, like the same schema, single table replication, and then pass it on to you guys. Regarding my travel from 30th to 5th, I will update you what is my plan in order to not to stop your sessions. Okay, so at least I'll see I can give you 2 videos to be completed and some assignments so that you carry on with your stuff. Okay, so we'll wind up today's session because already there are a lot of people who are getting late and they don't want to miss this one. So guys, anything before we wind up our session? Do we have to enable supplemental?
One small thing.
Yeah, tell me.
Arun, actually, I just tried in the class was going on. I just tried to, do the again installation of this GG dev, but again,
Okay.
still my internet. I'm unable to ping the google.com of this.
No, you do one thing.
even
No,
now-
as I told you, I just made you presenter. In the GG dev, okay, let me see your screen first. Yeah, so you're not able to.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
So I can do this, but when I do this, I'm unable. I tried DHCP, I tried everything.
No, wait. If you see the above laptop icon, it says X. So open the, edit the connections. Yeah, network is not connected. Yeah, edit this one. Okay, try with DHCP over here. Instead of manual, try DHCP. Yeah.
This one?
Yes. Click on apply.
Try that. Should I remove or uncheck this?
For the connection to complete. I don't think we deal with that one. Just click on apply. Okay, restart the network, service network restart. Device not managed by network manager or unavailable. Okay, this will be a challenge over here. Give me access to your system. I mean, I'll try once. Wait, I'll request keyboard and mouse. You got it? Okay.
I'm giving you.
Yeah. Okay, can you take out the cursor from the VM?
Okay, done.
Okay. So you are connected with this one, right?
Yes.
To the internet, okay. Okay, the cursor connection is lost. Can you see the cursor moving at your end?
Yes.
Just leave it once now. Okay. No, I'm not getting it. Just click on IPv4 once and go to properties over there. Yeah.
This one?
Yes. Go to properties. Okay. Just cancel it. Okay, dual band wireless EC. Okay, cancel again. Go to the VM properties window, the settings window.
Settings.
Network again. Advanced. Okay. In the allow all, just try deny. Sometimes it does work with the deny.
You want me to go? Okay.
1 minute. 1 minute. Can you do one thing? Okay, I got the control. Just a minute. Let me do a test on your system. Okay. This is Intel PRO MT. Okay, same. So this one is 686 DC, and this one is.
This is working fine. I'm in prod. I have switched off now. Powered off it.
Okay. So now let us do one thing. We'll import it again. Okay, so where is the location?
Where is?
Yeah. Okay. Should be fine now.
Basically, there is a point. Reinitialize the MAC address of all network cards.
I mean, you don't need to do it, because all our systems are different, right? If you are at my location in my office using the same router, then you have to reinitialize the MAC. We all are on different networks, right? So the same MAC address which I'm using, everybody can use because it is local to your router.
Okay.
I mean, 99% it never gives a problem. I suspect one thing, but that's a very long way. I don't want to get into it. You need to add a new adapter, then edit the network adapter file. That's a big one. Well, we'll try something different. I have another idea in mind to solve this problem.
But how come ggprod is working fine? I mean, I'm really shocked.
Maybe some conflict with the MAC address, or sometimes it happens. Let me just look.
Okay, you want me to do?
Yeah, no, wait. So over here, this has taken your default network, okay? And over here also, I don't want to change anything. Let us just fire this VM and see what happens.
It won't work.
Let's see.
Did you start it?
I clicked on it.
strange. This time it's working. I sent you a screenshot also. I remember.
Maybe
It was
we'll.
not working.
Oh, is it? Sometimes it happens, when you go to the doctor, you always feel better. So maybe the VMs are scared of me, so they are working fine.
I'll take it as a taunt.
I mean, it should work fine. Should not be an issue. We'll see.
Yeah.
So just to help you with the shortcut, I'll tell you another way to work on this problem. So the network adapter one, you can enable another network adapter over here. Okay. So you will have two adapters. The second adapter you configure into the DHCP mode so that it will talk to the internet. Get your yum installer work done, then remove the adapter. That is one shortcut that people do.
My question is the second adapter should be bridge. The same bridge.
100%. All should be in bridged mode. Without bridged, it won't be able to talk to your router.
Okay, so you want me to start the second adapter? Then it will be, when I give the IPF config, it will show me Ethernet 1, I believe, isn't it?
Yes. For first adapter, it will be ETH0. Second one would be 1.
And so second one will be DHCP. You want me to put DHCP?
Yes. Second one will configure it as DHCP. Yes. I mean, we'll see if this is not working. Then we'll go with that.
Sure.
That's the easiest way. Even many people, when practicing RAG, even though we need two network adapters, they enable the third one. Third one would be on DHCP, and the first one would be public network. Second one would be private network. I mean, that's the easiest way to practice. So it's taking quite a long time to come up.
Yeah, I have an i5, but it's slower than yours. I have a 12 GB RAM.
Somehow I have tested. I told you, right? I have 3-4 laptops at home. All I purchased. First, I purchased when I was practicing. Initial, I have an Intel Celeron. Then I purchased which one? i3 4th generation. Then I purchased i3 5th generation. i3 6th generation. I mean, many a times I found like i5. I heard that it is okay only. It's same as i3, but it is preferable to go on i7 rather than i5.
See, VM is working. It's very slow. I mean, when I click on this PC, it is like this. I don't know why.
What's the RAM? How much RAM you have?
12.
12 won't work. You need to have minimum 16. That is one issue. So if you are firing out two VMs, minimum you should have 16 GB. Like in my laptop, it is 20 GB, and I have i3 6th generation, so it's working fine for me. And try to increase the RAM on your system. It should be good.
Sure, I'll do it.
Let us close this one. Let us close the VM and start it up again.
You want me to close?
Yeah, close the VM.
Okay. In the power off.
Yeah.
There is a close.
Yes, power off. It's taking time to stop as well.
Yeah, I mean, it usually takes time, but then it comes up. Okay, it's done.
Yeah, start now.
Start.
Yes. So what you can do is, like, if you have a little RAM, close all the stuff that you're not using in the taskbar. That will reduce the RAM usage, like your sniping tool, your Google Chrome, everything that you keep on that will consume RAM. So keep bare minimum things on, and then it should be fine. So every window that you open, it will definitely consume RAM. Okay, try to open PuTTY and connect to this VM. Okay, your subnet is different, right? 192.168.1, so it won't work.
Yeah, it won't work.
Hey Arun, it's Pankaj here.
Yeah, Pankaj, tell me.
So Arun, while doing RAG codes, I also had these issues, and I just fixed it by changing the IPv4 settings. Just put the automatic, and the DNS just put 8.8.8.8. That is Google's default DNS.
Yeah, we can do that. There are multiple ways to resolve this issue. I mean, if you guys are not using Yum repository, then you don't even have to connect to the internet. I made a mistake. I thought it was in my mind to finish off the Yum repository steps and then give you the VMs. But then again, you might have missed out on that learning as well. So I thought you should do it from scratch. Hitesh, what I'll do is I'll give you another shortcut. I mean, there are two things over here. The first one is to add another network adapter and then make it as DHCP. You get the work done, then delete the adapter. That's the first case. Second thing is close this window. Click on the X on the top. Yeah, you can click it on the close one. Correct. So it's not closing.
It's taking time.
Yeah. Okay, open the VMware. Yeah. What you can do is just do a right click, perform a clone, and give it as ggdev example. Right now I'm giving dev1 because we already have ggdev. Click on next. So make a full clone. 1 minute. Did we miss one more step? In this case, you need to reinitialize the MAC and IP because two VMs cannot have the same MAC address, right? So in this case, reinitialize it, next, and then you just perform a full clone. You will get ggdev, so it will be just like clone of your ProdDB. But the problem is you need to edit the host name because inside the VM, the host name would be prod only, like ggprod. You need to change the host name and then check with the network. So if you have any issues, send me an email. We can log in separately for this issue.
Sure, I'll try all the things, and if I have an issue, I'll solve.
Okay. So we have Nikhil, would normal logging be able to capture complete DML including the key values, or is it only the case is it only the case of Golden Gate? Yes, it won't capture. That is what example I showed you guys, right? So with the update command, you won't get the where clause. That is a simple example. There are a lot more things. We need to have the key column details. Which column the transaction is impacting, or which key column the transaction is reflecting. Okay. So guys, anything before we wind up?
Hey, Arun, this is Yogesh.
Yeah, Yogesh, tell me.
Does the Golden Gate have means to monitor like alert log features like DB is having to monitor anything? Do we?
Yes, we have.
Means we can we can see any error in the Golden Gate alert log.
Everything you can do. So we have it in the upcoming sessions. Okay.
Fine.
Right, guys. For the coming weekend, I'll update everybody what is the status and how are we going to overcome it. If I'm able to record the videos for you guys, I'll share it with you. If I'm unable to record the videos, or if there is an internet connectivity issue in the area I'm traveling, at least I'll make sure you get these like single table replication video, you get the different schema replication video, and also you get some assignments for these 2 weeks. Okay, so I'll update you on that. I'm really not clear about it, but yes, you won't get any reply to your emails from 30th till 5th. So in that period, even if you're sending any emails, I won't have any access. Okay. Okay, guys. See you then. Take care. Bye-bye.